and welcome to Chicago Reacts. My name is Lauren, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. Some people have suggested that I do some more like video essay type content, which, yeah, I watch a lot of these on my own. Just like, why not, right? So this one is by creator Tronn, and it's The Nice Guy, Undercover Misogynist. So I like videos like this because a lot of the times they look at these characters who I hate and they tell me that I'm right to hate them, or at least right to be wary of them. And I've gotten into arguments with people about most of the characters that I'm sure we'll talk about in this episode, mostly because of the people who are in the thumbnail. So it's like I've gotten into arguments with people about why these characters actually suck, and why you shouldn't aspire to be like them. So it will be interesting and feel probably a little bit validating. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope that you enjoy. Like I said, people have asked for some more video essay stuff. Here we go. Let's begin.
He's cordial, he's friendly, he actually respects women and their bodily autonomy. He's sweet,
okay, so
he's cordial, he's friendly, he actually respects women and their bodily autonomy, and is a hopeless romantic at heart. But above all of this, he's nice. I started watching the newest season of White Lotus, and there's a character in the season that kind of infuriates me. I could not for the life of me tell you his name because so many of the characters this season feel so empty. But if you are watching this season,
there will be some spoilers for White Lotus.
And Lisa. And we follow the season as he hopelessly pines after her, trying to convince her to date him and not get tangled up with the bad boy security guards who are less deserving of her attention and affection. No, he's the one who's the most deserving because he's nice to her. It really brought to mind all the other characters who fell into the nice guy trope that really bothered me, because at the forefront we're expected to root for this underdog and his quest in winning over the girl because he's friendly, compassionate, and nice.
We're always the good guys.
But is he, though?
In D&D, we're lawful good, and City of Heroes, we're the heroes, and Grand Theft Auto, we pay the prostitutes promptly and never hit them with a bat.
However, when you really look into it, nice guys can be just
being lawful good in D&D is not that interesting, though. Chaotic good, that's where it lives.
Just as controlling, emotionally manipulative, and misogynistic as the bad boys. They don't actually care or respect women's bodily autonomy because they consistently prioritize their own romantic gratification over the needs of the women. They're willing to lie, manipulate, and coerce women into feeling safe around them just to make them feel more affectionate towards them.
Look, there's something I need to tell you.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
I don't really know how to say this.
You say it.
Okay. Here goes.
Okay.
You slept with him?
I didn't know what else to do. He had those big, sad eyes.
Oh, sure, you had no choice.
If that woman should give her attention and affection to another man, the nice guy will mope and be disappointed and angry that their continued loyalty and compassion was not rewarded with romanticism. These men are not altruistic in their intentions. They don't actually want to be these women's friends. Everything they do is in service of ingratiating themselves into these women's lives.
And the thing is, too, like, a lot of them, and I've known a lot of people like this, they don't realize what they're doing. They really, like, a lot of them just, they don't. But they also refuse, like, when it's explained to them, they also don't accept that they've done that. And it's like, I'm not telling you, I'm not saying you're a terrible person or that you're doing it on purpose, but it is a scummy move. Like, and a lot of the times, too, it's like if you have been vulnerable with these people and you've opened up to them in the past, later they use that against you. Not to like hold it over your head or anything, but they're like, but you have told me this and this, and like they will like bring up all of the times that you have in fact been vulnerable with them, and they'll do it as to be like, so obviously you have a feeling. And it's like, or I was maybe a little drunk at the time, or I thought we were friends and I thought I could just tell you about stuff. Like it's not always about me wanting to ultimately go anywhere, you know? I don't know. It's like, again, I don't necessarily think that some of them for sure know exactly what they're doing, but I feel like a lot of them, it's not necessarily malicious on purpose, but if after you explain to them, hey, this is not okay behavior. And then they get mad and be like, start blaming you or just like saying, hey, but I'm nice. It's like, I thought, I thought we were friends though. Like you should be nice because you're nice, not because you think maybe there'll be a better reward for you down the line. Anyway, he'll probably get to it.
Bring them down, so to speak, until they finally reward their efforts with sex or romantic
wearing them down.
relationship.
There it
How did
is.
you get her to go out with you?
Well, she moved in across the hall.
And he started to slowly wear me down.
Like a river carves a canyon.
So in today's video, I want to give my take on this decades-long trope and break down how these characters can often be just as misogynistic and opportunistic as the players and
Let's do it.
womanizers we are so used to seeing in the media. Nice guys finish last.
All right.
So you've
Let's
probably
do
heard
it.
the phrase, nice guys finish last.
Remember? Nice guys finish last.
You're Mr. Nice Guy?
Yes.
Oh, Stanley. Do you realize how much mail we got about that letter? I mean, there are literally hundreds of women out there looking for a guy just like you.
This is a really popular saying, but what does it really mean? It implies that men who are overly agreeable, kind, and compassionate open themselves up to being taken advantage of by the people around them.
Or you're such a nice guy means I'm going to be dating leather-wearing alcoholics and complaining about them to you.
Now, this doesn't just mean men can also take advantage of other men, but in the context of dating, this idea has been used to fuel a lot of misogynistic ideologies around women.
Because it does make sense too for it to be like nice guys finish last. I mean, yeah, if you're a lawyer or a CEO, but it shouldn't like it's not a something to aspire to, like to be. Anyway,
I know women like you.
Damn it, Mom! I told you I could handle
I
this.
just want to ask her something. You truly love my son?
I love him so much it hurts.
All right, then. When is his birthday?
Mom.
I'm not, that is just offensive
not fair.
that you would even ask me that.
It's today.
I know.
The idea that women will take
not good at
advantage of
remembering
men by
birthdays.
taking all of their money, cuckolding them, and manipulating them into doing things they aren't comfortable with.
Concert tickets you wanted?
You're kidding. For Friday night? Stanley, this is great. Oh, yeah.
So what time should I pick you up?
Well, see, here's the thing.
Why don't you just go with your friend?
This is Stanley. I couldn't do that.
oh, what a she seems awful. See, this is one of the things too where it's like I put up walls and that kind of like I know people who like they're constantly like trying to give me stuff and I'm like I don't want you to. Cuz they always feel like sometimes people just want to give you something and that's just who they are as a person. And sometimes I'm like but also just it feels so mean to like ask that someone gives you something. And the implication would have been 2 concert tickets. We'll go together. That's the implication. So it's like, I like that he is kind of talking about the other side of it. How it's like, hey, women do it too. I like it. It seems like it's going to be an unbiased sort of video. I appreciate that.
No, come on.
Stanley, you are the nicest guy. Really.
Yeah, he bought you fucking concert tickets.
Nice guys finish last because they are unable to set firm boundaries with the people in their lives. Now, I'm not saying that this doesn't actually happen and that there aren't women who actually take advantage of men in this way.
No, I think we'll have to return the car. And the necklace, yeah, that too. But none of those things matter because we have something better. We have love.
But the fear of being manipulated by women has led men to pick up some very harmful practices. Before men were simps, people would say they were whipped.
You should put on yours and then we'll match.
But I worked hard to get this armor.
Sorry, I just thought it'd be nice if people knew we were a couple.
Online.
Fine, I'll change.
In a lot of modern media, nice guys are put through this Cinderella-like transformation where they shed their nerdy, passive persona to adopt a more aggressive, hyper-masculine image. This is seen as the ideal man that women would find attractive. The underlying
which is a
idea
pity.
being that women are submissive beings and are only attracted to men who can dominate them. The idea that
interesting
women are
theory.
seeking out male domination leads to the nice guy putting on a front of hypermasculinity in order to appear more attractive and desirable to the woman he wants.
Oh, that's I never even considered that. All right, and that's interesting. I'm not sure that I completely because it sounds like what he's saying is that even toxic masculinity is rooted in misogyny, which is an interesting theory. I'll have to think about that a little bit longer though. That's interesting.
This is where the whole idea of negging comes from.
What are negs?
A neg is a negative compliment that throws a pretty woman off her game. Like,
There's no such thing as a
normally
negative
I'm not
compliment.
turned on by big teeth, but on you they work. Step 1, she notices the eye patch. May I say, Penny, not a lot of women could look as hot as you do with such greasy hair.
Good job, Penny. I'm gonna make you need that eye
Serves
patch.
to propagate the idea that women love bad boys.
Look at him. He is such a badass.
They do say that a lot. Like that's one of the arguments is that women like bad boys. It's like some women do.
He looks just like Luke Wilson. Mm-hmm.
Men who will insult
He does a
them,
little bit.
mistreat them, or ignore them.
Hi, hey, Jessica.
Oh, hey, Morty.
Hey, Jessica, right?
Yeah, hi, sorry. I thought you knew my name because we've interacted so many times, but maybe I was just being stupid. Sorry. Hi, I'm Jessica. That's me.
Cool.
Jessica.
See you around.
Yeah, I hope I see you around.
Guess we'll see.
That women are more drawn to men who are emotionally unavailable and withdrawn, aloof even.
The #1 mistake nice guys like you make? Being too to keep her interested, you have to act aloof. Like you don't really care one way or the other.
So for most of modern media, the idea that adopting this persona is effective
pity
in
that
winning
this has
over women 60, 70 years ago, leading men on screen looks like this. But after a time, a shift happened. There was more of a challenge to the idea that nice guys finish last. We started seeing more underdog leading protagonists, men who
We
led
do
with
get a lot of them
empathy
these
and
days.
compassion. They actually respected these women and cared about their well-being. The nice guy as a new archetype for the leading man was supposed to embody everything the emotionally distant machismo guy was not. But were these men genuinely nice, or did they simply
had a
adopt a
secret
new way
agenda.
of coercing women to fall for them? We can't be friends. One of the underlying principles of this trope is the idea that men and women cannot be friends. The idea is that a
Which is
man,
so
no matter
sad.
how much he purports to wanting a friendship with a woman, will always secretly want to have sex with her.
See, and the thing is, in my experience, 90% of the time, that's how it goes. And it's like, I do have a couple of friends who are men who I genuinely think we're just friends. But then again, it's happened many times where it's like, I'll think that I'm just friends with somebody for years. And then one day they're like, oh, by the way, I really like you. And I'm like, oh, well, no. And it's just like, it sucks. And it's like, so I've been burned by that myself, on many occasions. Not every occasion. There are still some guys out there who I feel like I'm just genuinely good friends with, not gay guys who are attracted to women, the genuine friendship is there. So for those guys, I am super, super grateful. And I hope it continues. But it is unfortunate. It's happened to me enough times where I'm like, well, questions though. Like where it is there in the back of my mind. And I'm not sure if it's like that for other women out there, but it is there in the back of my mind. Just based on the number of times it's happened. So there's that. This is an interesting one to do considering most of our watcher base is men.
Of course, that we could never be friends.
Why not?
What I'm saying is, and this is not a come on in any way, shape, or form, is that men and women can't be friends because the sex part always gets in the way.
That's not true. I have a number of men friends and there is no sex involved.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Yes, I
You
do.
only think you do.
You're saying I'm having sex with these men without my knowledge?
No, what I'm saying is they all want to have sex with you.
So the only reason a man would want to be nice to a woman is because he wants to sleep with her. We see examples of this idea in many men across media. In Friends, one of the main reasons why Ross became jealous of how much time Rachel was dedicating to her work was because he felt that her coworker Mark's interest in her was because he was attracted to her.
What, so this guy's helping you for no apparent reason? And he's a total stranger?
Yeah, his name is, Mark something.
Huh, sounds like Mark something wants to have some sex.
What?
He couldn't get behind the idea that a straight
again,
man
though,
would
not
be
always.
that nice to an attractive woman, offering her a high-paying job if he didn't want to sleep with her.
See, but again, that's a problem with Ross too, though. Like I know I just said that I've been burned by this kind of mentality before, but also it's like it makes it difficult for men who do genuinely want to just be nice and do something nice because they do see like a talent or whatever. It does make it harder for them because the mistrust is there. Like the mistrust is like in your head already, and like the doubts and the questioning. So it's like it does make it genuinely harder for genuinely nice guys to do genuinely nice things. Like I was saying before, like I've had friends who just like to give me things, and it's like, and I know it's like and I know ish that it's not about that because I've watched him do it for other people. Like, you know, see something that he thinks someone will like and he will buy it and he will give it to them. And I've seen him do it for a lot of people. So it's like, I know that it's not necessarily always a factor, but it's like, it's still there in the back of my head. It's like, okay, but what do you want from me? I have a sweatshirt that's like, it says, why all this niceness? You know, like back away. Like, what is this? What is all this niceness? It's like, I don't trust it. I don't trust the niceness anymore. There's been a lot of strings attached in my life. And it's like, it sucks. It's like, but again, shows like this, or like instances like this, and movies like Harry Met Sally, it helps to hammer in the point. And it's like, I think that says more about the writer than it does about an actual person.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, why else would he just, swoop in out of nowhere for no reason?
To be nice?
Hey, Joey, are men ever nice to strange women for no reason?
No, only for sex.
Thank you.
Which actually did kind of turn out to be true. So in that sense, there is no true nice guy because there is always some ulterior motive. Men can never truly be altruistic in the way they interact with women because it is always with the hidden intent of making that woman more affectionate towards them.
See, again, it's kind of true, but also kind of not. And I feel like media hammering in that point only makes it harder for the men who are not doing that.
Because you waited too long to make your move, and now you're in the friend zone.
No. I'm not in the zone.
Oh, Ross, you're mayor of the zone.
In iCarly, Freddie is trapped in the godforsaken friend zone. He is helplessly in love with his best friend Carly, who at every point rebuffs his affection.
We talked about this. We can be buds, but you gotta get over this crush thing.
I am over it. Seriously. I'm in love with you. You just want to be friends, and I'm totally cool living with that constant pain.
In the revival series of the show, this dynamic was further explored and came to a head when Freddie confronted Carly about toying with his affections when they were younger, feeling that Carly had weaponized his attraction towards her. But Carly also had a point.
Because I was uncomfortable.
You said that in 100 years, I could only ever be your friend.
I said that our friendship was the most important of my life. That meant something to me. But I guess to you, being my friend is just a consolation prize.
The nice guy will accept
Oof,
being friends with women they're interested in, half hoping that their continued loyalty and kindness will endear the women towards them
That
and
is how it
eventually
feels
make them fall in love
sometimes.
with them. In The Big Bang Theory, Leonard has no issue cozying up to Penny, doing anything she asks at a moment's notice, like picking up her TV from her ex-boyfriend's apartment, all to ingratiate himself into her life.
Well, your ex-boyfriend sends his regards, and I think the rest is fairly self-explanatory.
I'm so sorry. I really thought if you guys went instead of me, he wouldn't be such an ass.
No, it was a valid hypothesis.
That was a valid What is happening to you?
Really, thank you so much for going and trying. You're so terrific.
Leonard spends the whole show being amenable to Penny's desires and needs because he believes that so long as he is kind and loyal towards her, eventually he will be rewarded with her love and affection. A really interesting aspect that keeps popping up in this trope is that men sometimes don't make their romantic feeling towards these women known up front. All
Okay,
under
that's
the guise
accurate.
that
That's
they
fair.
are more respecting of women and see them more than just sexual objects, when the truth is they're either afraid of rejection or simply cannot muster up the confidence to ask them out. Ross spends the entire first season of Friends hopelessly in love with Rachel, but never just outright comes out and let her know.
But do you think it would be okay if I asked you out sometime, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I've had that happen to me. Granted, I was 13. And I did yeah, sure. Why not? Like, oh, man.
Maybe.
Okay.
Are you going to do it then?
Okay, maybe I will.
Instead, he makes it seem as if he's only interested in being friends with her, but then gets unreasonably upset whenever she dates other men. In his mind, his latent attraction towards her is enough to keep her around, even if he's unwilling to be forthright about his feelings for her. A similar situation shows up in The Big Bang Theory. Leonard hesitates for the entirety of the first season to let Penny know how he truly feels about her, out of fear of rejection. He still tries to impress her and goes out of his way to endear her towards him, but never
But again, like, that's when you're like, oh, great, I found this great guy. He's awesome. We're such good friends. Like, he's so nice. He's willing to do stuff. And then, like, months or years go by, and it's like, that's where you're at in your head because it was never brought up. It was never brought to your attention. Like, and then suddenly out of nowhere, he tries to kiss you. And it's like, oh, whoa. What? What? And it's out of nowhere every time.
Actually tells her how he feels, but always gets disappointed and sad whenever she does date someone else.
Hey, do you want to, I don't know, later?
Excuse me. Hey, Penny.
Hi, Mike.
You ready to go?
Yeah, I just have to change.
I'll give you a hand.
Oh, stop it. Bye, guys.
My turn on the time machine.
Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother is also a really good example of this. He decides to just be friends with Robin, all the while still having romantic feelings towards her. But being friends as a consolation prize is never well-intentioned, because they eventually become resentful of the women if they never return their feelings.
There it is.
I didn't try, Rachel, but things got in the way, you know, like Italian guys or
Oh my God.
ex-fiancés or Italian guys.
They may become passive-aggressive and even guilt the women into feeling bad for not loving them back on their terms.
But at the same time, we're supposed to, like, continue to root for them. And it's like, ooh, but I like this. Good job, man.
Honey, it's not what it looks like, okay? It's not what you think. Just please listen to me.
This is exactly what I think. I thought you were smarter than the sluts who do it with him. I didn't think you were one of them.
Rude.
She's not yours. You know that, right? You don't just deserve her because you liked her.
Nobody asked you.
They're also
She's
always
right.
wrapped up in self-pity and entitlement. They romanticize the self-inflicted suffering they experience. These men are hopeless romantics and will do whatever it takes to win the women's affection. A man's right to love and affection takes supremacy over a woman's autonomy. Another core aspect of the trope is the idea that these men in pursuit of these women are simply working in service of a higher power to find the one person in the entire world that they are meant to be with forever. And it doesn't matter if that person also thinks they're the one. They are willing to wait, to move heaven and mountains, do anything it takes to be with this person because they are their one true love and soulmate. This is
no
the core
such thing as
principle
the
that
one,
the show How I Met Your
unfortunately.
Mother was founded on. In this show, we follow Ted Mosby, a helpless romantic, in pursuit of the one. In How I Met Your Mother, Ted Mosby spends the entire show in pursuit of finding the one. He believes that
The problem with the one, sorry, I know I've paused so much. The problem with the one is that if it's not immediately perfect and wonderful, then someone who is like looking for the one will like immediately leave, because like people don't realize how much work a relationship is. And it takes time, and it takes compromise, and it takes working together to make your like to be happy. And sometimes it doesn't work out. But like Ted, what he does is like at the first hurdle, every single time, he's like, well, actually, no, never mind. And he like leaves. And it's like, you didn't give it a chance to shake out. Sometimes the girl is pretty normal. She might just have like, oh, she has a quirk because it's a sitcom. But he's just like, but there's the second that he might have to work just a little bit harder, he dips. And that's one of the reasons I have always hated him.
there's one woman he's meant to spend the rest of his life with, and he's willing to go to great lengths to pursue them.
I'm done being single. I'm not good at it. Look, obviously, you can't tell a woman you just met you love her, but it sucks that you can't. I'll tell you something, though. If a woman, not you, just some hypothetical woman, were to bear with me through all this, I think I'd make a damn good husband, because that's the stuff I'd be good at. Stuff like making her laugh and being a good father and walking her 5 hypothetical dogs.
But in the pursuit of these women to find the one, Ted oftentimes ignores their ambivalence towards him. It doesn't matter if they actually are attracted to him and want to pursue a relationship with him. His needs takes precedence over their autonomy. He'll at any given moment make grand romantic gestures to convince women they belong together. But it's all self-serving. It's all to fulfill the ideology in his own mind about what his romantic future will look like. Ted feels entitled to love and a happy ending. In his mind, his pursuit of romance and the one takes priority over these women's autonomy.
You picked the wrong guy.
Ted.
You picked the wrong guy. You made a really, really, really bad choice.
Dang.
Ross from Friends falls into the same problem.
Harsh.
He believes wholeheartedly that Rachel and him are destined to be together. So even when she starts dating other guys, particularly his friend Joey, he has a hard time coming to terms with it. Even during their breakup, after he slept with someone else, he wouldn't accept the fact that their relationship was over because to him, she's the one.
I can't imagine my life without you.
But yeah, he's allowed to sleep with somebody.
Without these arms and your face and this heart, your good heart, right? And
This form of
Get off of me.
idealization that the nice guy does isn't even really rooted in substance. The nice guy wants you to believe that the reason they are attracted to these women is because they are able to look past their physical features and see them for who they truly are. They want you to believe that they are attracted to their personality or their mind, unlike the other men who are pigs and only want them for their bodies. But the truth is, their initial attraction and fascination with these women are also based on physical attributes. They like these women because they're hot. Before they even know anything about them, their physicality is the only thing that draws them in. So it's not rooted in any cosmic pursuit of finding the love of their lives. It's still rooted in the same vapid, superficial aspect that they judge other men for pursuing women for. Bad boy versus nice guy.
Why do nice people choose the wrong people to date?
We accept the love we think we deserve.
Can we make them know that they deserve more?
We can try.
Now let's talk about these men in relation to the
See, that's not a that I feel like is not terrible. except for like, that's not bad advice. And I feel like that is often true, that we do accept the love we think we deserve. But if you are only showing somebody love so that you can get something out of it later, that's not love. So there is a fine line there. And it does suck that a lot of people choose someone who's terrible for them. But if people aren't mad about it because, they're worried for the person in that bad relationship, they're not worried for their safety, for their life, for their happiness, and they only want to take the place of that other person, that's controlling and shitty.
Who is supposed to be their complete antithesis. Oftentimes, the nice guy will be envious of the bad boy's ability to attract women, especially the women they themselves desire. They also sometimes begin to resent these women for finding the bad boy attractive. How could they think these men, who they deem as less deserving of their love, be more of an ideal mate than themselves?
ตะกี้คุยอะไรกับพวกนั้นน่ะพวกนั้นขี้เกียจจะตาย
ก็ไม่นะน่ารักดีออก
Sometimes people are nice.
สวยนี่เขาก็ต้องทำดีด้วยอยู่แล้ว
Crucial to this point is the idea that these men are better partners for these women because they actually respect them and appreciate them in a way that the other bad boys would not.
Can I kiss you?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
I've also said yes to things like that because of just awkwardness. Because I'm like, oh, I'm on the spot
as
now.
Discussed so far, that's not typically the case. And in fact, the nice guy and bad boy's motive can be very similar. In that,
especially if it's like, look, I'm alone with that guy right now. And that's kind of like, that's also, I don't know what's going to happen if I say no. Like, because I have told people no, and like get really mad and start calling me all sorts of names, and then they start blowing up my social media with all sorts of horrible things, and I'm like, well. So it's like, I don't know. In situations like that, I have, as I've gotten older, it's gotten easier to be like, no, to something like that. It's gotten a lot easier for me to say no. But when I was younger, when I was like a teenager and in like my early 20s, I was just like, okay, sure. Yeah. Because I don't know what else to say. This is scary.
they simply want to be with the women because of what it would mean for them. They don't respect these women's autonomy to choose who they want to be with and become resentful if the woman does not choose them.
Luna, guarda le stelle, guarda tutte le cose belle.
Because as much as they position themselves as being respectful of women's autonomy, that respect only goes so far.
Men love The Godfather because they feel emasculated by modern society. It's a fantasy about a time when they could go out and solve all their problems with violence and sleep with every woman and then come home to their wife who doesn't ask them any questions and makes them positive.
Hey. It's a normal male fantasy.
No, movies like that socialize men into having that fantasy.
The minute the woman actually asserts her autonomy to choose who she wants to be with.
I mean, because he's right, except for the fact that, he's gonna then do the exact same thing. So it's interesting. I like the clips he's used so far in this video.
Who she wants to give her love and affection to, all of a sudden there is a wrong choice. This kind of trickles down into real life. There are people who dedicate time to teaching young men how to not be nice guys and be the bad boys that actually gets the girl. But when it all comes down to it, there is definitely a case for why women would be attracted to the bad boy versus the nice guy. Not because they're rude or insulting of the women, but because they tend to be more assertive and direct in their intentions to pursue a relationship.
Right. They make it make sense right off the bat. It's none of this guessing. It's none of this like trying to sneak in past the defenses, right? There's confidence there. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like making it clear up front instead of making you think you're safe and then suddenly taking that safety away, that's where I've had issues in the past. And like, you know, this is obviously not going into people who've asked me out while I'm working, because that's just people being like, don't do that. But like in general, it's like I'm more likely to be interested in going out on a date with somebody who is very upfront with that desire very quickly, as opposed to somebody who has pretended to only want to be friends, or who's just kind of, who wasn't upfront about it, who suddenly like we're friends for a while and then suddenly, actually, I like you. It's like, well, did that just happen, or was that always the case? Like, how much of the last however many times we've hung out have you wanted something extra? Like, and the uncertainty is, it makes it difficult to trust other people.
Like I mentioned before, a recurring aspect of this trope is that the nice guy oftentimes is very intimidated about even approaching the women they desire and make their affection known. Instead, they hope that these women will just slowly come to the realization that they are actually attracted to them. The bad
but that
boy is
doesn't
not
happen.
supposed to be seen as an ideal or someone to strive to. In these dynamics, they are very clearly painted as the wrong choice. And the nice guy feels a sense of superiority to them because in their minds, they're treating women the way that they want to be treated. So nice guys may be more compassionate and endearing, but ultimately, if they are only interacting with women in that way to extract romantic favors from them, are they really that nice? Effectively, if these men still cannot respect women's bodily autonomy and right to choose, if they feel the need to manipulate women to fall for them or resent them for not rewarding their loyalty with romanticism, they can be just as toxic, misogynistic, and manipulative as the bad boy. So that's it. Let me know what your thoughts are below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
See, I like that. I thought that, I mean, again, a lot of that, well, every so often, you know, I'll say something that I was like, well, I don't know, but I'm not sure about that. Because again, it's not, I will say toxic masculinity hurts more than just women. It really is bad for guys. Like, and by promoting the behavior of like Ross and Ted and the White Lotus boys, and like by promoting that behavior as like, this is who you want to root for, it does sort of, it like, you know, it makes guys think that that is acceptable and that it's not heartbreaking, because it sucks. I've lost a couple of friends that way, because it's just like, I thought we were friends, but it turns out you didn't want to be friends. Like, you wanted something from me, something, and then when I wasn't willing to give that, because that had never been part of the dynamic, suddenly I'm the bad guy and I'm a bitch. And like, that's not fair. That's like, I was like, man, we were friends though. I had such a good time. Like, and now this thing's like, it's like, I can't watch Shameless anymore. It's like the person I was watching that with, like, rug pulled me. And I'm like, oh, well, the show is kind of ruined for me now. And that was years and years and years and years ago. And I don't know. It is a shame. And it's a pity. And I don't think that we should be promoting these people as paragons of romance. And it's like, as patience and stuff. It's like, just like, it's like patience is a virtue. It's like, sure, but if the other person involved doesn't want it, or if she doesn't realize that patience is required of her, or she's just not clicking, it's like, it's not there because it's not in her mind that that's the dynamic, suddenly she's in trouble. And again, we just need to stop idolizing these people, because they're not actually, and I feel like, again, I feel like probably most men aren't like that. And like I said, I've got several friends who are men who I'm not worried about, you know, and not gay ones either. Like, I've got plenty of straight male friends that I'm like, you know what, I'm actually not worried about them. And it's fine. It's just every so often the thought will worm into my head, and then I have to like study it for a second. I have to think about it. I have to worry about it. And I don't want to. So, I don't know. It's a tense topic. I feel like this is very shoe on head sort of thing. Interesting ideas, Tronn. So, thanks for sharing. And Yeah, this has been in the zeitgeist for a really long time, hasn't it? It's like it's so much part of our cultural identity these days. That sucks. Anyway, that's a video essay. People have asked that I do more video essays. This is my attempt at that. We'll see if this goes well. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.